lesson we are going to write an equation for a parabola containing the following points. So they're going to give us our vertex here and they give us a point this parabola passes through. To kind of see what that would look like, here's actually the graph of this parabola. The vertex is negative 1, 4, and then it passes through the point 2, 1. The only way it would pass through that point is if it was going down. So hopefully you'll see that that's why that parabola is going down. We now have to label these points and put it write the equation of the line, and we'll do that in vertex form. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to write out what vertex form is, just to remind myself. It's y equals a times x minus h quantity squared plus k. When they give me the vertex, they're giving me the h and the k. The ordered pair they give me is an example of an x and a y that work for this equation. So I'm going to label them x and y, and I'm going to use them to help me find the other key variable I need, which is my a value. I need to know my a to write an equation in vertex form. The three variables I always need to know are a, h, and k. Those are the three that don't stay variables. We actually substitute numbers in there, and they're specific to each parabola. So I need to find my a here so I can determine how I would graph this. So I'm going to use the ordered pair they give me of 2, 1, and I'm going to put a 1 in the y spot. My a is a variable, and then x is 2 minus h. So minus a negative 1 would be plus 1. Don't forget the squared, and then plus k, which is 4. So I just go ahead and I simplify this equation and then try to solve for a eventually. So I'd have 1 equals 3 squared is 9, so I'd probably write that as 9a instead of a9. And now I'm going to solve for a because that's what I'm looking for. So I have negative 3 equals 9a. I divide both sides by 9, and I find a to be negative 1/3. Now I knew a was negative because my parabola was going down. Did you know it was a fraction? I would argue that you should have, because this is a little bit of a wider parabola than the norm. So you maybe would have thought it could have been some fraction. Not a super small one, but negative 1/3 makes sense when you look at this picture. So now what you're going to do is, this is not actually your answer. They didn't ask you for a. They asked you to write the equation in vertex form. So I have my vertex, which was given to me up here, negative 1, 4. So I know I have negative 1, 4 as my h and k. And here's my a value. So I'm going to go ahead and substitute that into the equation in vertex form. So y equals a, which is negative 1/3, times x minus h, so x minus a negative 1, quantity squared, plus 4. There's the answer they're looking for. So by giving us that vertex and that ordered pair, they want us to come up with the equation in vertex form. I'm going to have you guys do number 8, please, and then you can check your work with mine. In number 8, again, we're given the h and the k, and the x and the y. I would write out vertex form again, so I know where I'm substituting. If you want to see a picture of that graph, there it is. So I'm going to go y, which is 4, equals a times x minus 1, which is h squared, plus our k value. So I go through and just simplify this equation. 2 squared is 4, so I'd have 4a plus 2. And then we go ahead and solve for a. So 2 equals 4a. When I divide by 4, I get a to be 1/2. So I know my a, and I know my h and k. I can go ahead and write it into this form using those variables. So I'd have y equals a, which is 1/2, times x minus 1, quantity squared, plus 2. And that's my final answer.